Permission to report, Lord Captain. Over the past few days, I've received several messages from different decks, complaining about anomalous behaviors in the ship cogitators and servitors. The machine spirits are restless and rebellious, and no tech litany or ritual of pacification can rid them of this obstinacy. The tech priests can deal with the vessel systems, but the servitors, they make errors in the task, disobey orders, change the assigned rituals, or sometimes downright freeze as if in trance. That click comes through the Vox channel, followed by a wary sigh. Lord Captain, occurrences such as these are caused by errors in the cogitator calculations or have some other sensible explanation. I beseech you not to take after those who whisper about the ship being cursed or possessed. True, we already heard that from Theodora. Idira joins the channel and chimes in playfully. A whole party. Oh, don't start, old man. All these peculiar happenings have long since turned into local legends. The door slams shut, illumined stars flickering. Folks have grown used to all that, so our resident ghost has decided to up an ante. I'm telling you, things are only going to get worse from here. Wow, thanks, Idira. The technomads inspected the servitors and concluded they pose no danger. According to the servants of the Omnisire, such behavior is caused either by the echoes of minds not completely eliminated, or by manifestations of the machine spirit as well. Nevertheless, the 40 servitors make the crew's task considerably more difficult, and High Factotum Generous Denrock would like to discuss how he should deal with the defective property. He's awaiting your audience on the bridge. Our ship is haunted. I mean, there are lots of spirits anyway. Okay, back to the bridge. Such a happy music. Loading, loading, loading. What are you loading? The bridge is not that big. Here we are again. Okay, because another thing we can do is to flirt and talk a little bit to Cassia. Let's do the work first, and then the fun later. High Factotum, where are you? Here. High Factotum Generous Denrock greets you with a cool smile, the merest hint of a bow. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of service? It just informed me about a problem with the servitors. What happened? You see, your lordship. The ship's servitors have been malfunctioning of late. They violate protocols, interrupt their tasks, observe crew members for long periods of time, and move erratically with no meaning or purpose. Generous Denrock nervously pulls on his luxurious frock coat, as if it were uncomfortably tight. Had it been routine technical fault, I would have decided the fate of the servitors myself, but I deemed it necessary to notify you. I do not wish to hide such irregularities from the Lord Captain. If you wish to observe the servitors' unusual behavior before you decide their fate, this can be arranged. The majority of the defective units have been delivered to one of the storage compartments pending your decision. Of course, let's take a look. Yeah, I wish to take a look at these servitors before deciding their fate. As you wish, your lordship. Ooh. That's new. It's like in I mean, it's not new, of course they already did that in Pathfinder, but it's new in Rogue Trader. When his lordship arrived at the scene, he found the servitors in the same position that they assumed after they had been corralled into the bay, all standing in a long spiraling line and facing the center of the strange formation. The moment his lordship crosses the threshold of the bay gate, the bodies jerked into motion, all as one, as if obeying a command. The servitors turned their face to the Lord Captain. The technomads tasked with overseeing the defective units even reached for their weapons. Then the servitors went still, just as abruptly, staring at his lordship with vacant eyes. What is happening? They're looking at us. All present held their breath, disturbed by this sight. We waited for the Lord Captain to speak. I also do wonder who's writing this book. Nice. Skull with an eye. I don't know if it's an implant or just like a lens fancy thingy. Being very curious, Edward took several steps toward the servitors. Immediately, the servitors, each and every one of them, stepped toward the Lord Captain in perfect unison, and they mimicked his movement with frightening precision. The rogue trader halted in place and, after a moment thought, waved his hand, and the servitors just as synchronously repeated the gesture as well. It sounds kind of funny. When the Lord Captain turned quizzically to the technomats, so did the servitors, as if mocking him. Whatever the Lord Captain did, be it an incline of the head, a wave of the hand, or step to the side, the defective units repeated it without a moment's delay or hesitation, like grotesque marionettes controlled by an unseen puppeteer. We observed this mime unfold in distressed bafflement for nearly a minute, until the servitors finally came to a stop. Not sensing any threat from them, the rogue trader approached with confidence. The Lord Captain: "Alright, healer, have a good night, and hopefully you will get soon well, and see you next time. Till then." The Lord Captain examined the servitors. As I factotum, it was I. He's writing. It was I who had prompted that entire inspection, and thus it was my duty to follow the Lord Captain. As we stepped closer, we noticed a fascinating irregularity. Servitors' pupils, normally still, were shaking wildly. Their bulging veins were pulsating under the copper collars inscribed with their past offenses. It was as if those mindless half-machines were locked in a perpetual state of extreme tension. A visibly shaken technomat behind us proposed the human souls had awakened within the servitors' bodies after long slumber deep within their lobotomized brains. Formerly bereft of intelligence, that attained awareness, feeling, and understanding. After a pause, the technomat added that the servitors used to function properly and that no one had been able to explain the change in their behavior. Its gaze still trained on the motionless but animate half machines and half people, the Lord Captain. Could just go and kill an iridescent blade. Yeah, it really sounds like some warp influence, doesn't it? It's just curious that they seem to be so fixated on us. That just sounds cruel. The Lord Captain stepped away from the servitors. I wish we could do more. Edward demanded a report on the defective unit status from the technomats. Technomat's long-winded and detailed report could have been summarized in a single key point. Despite the servitors' abnormal behavior, it was still quite capable of carrying out tasks, and therefore the circumstances did not call for their termination. But... do we try to disassemble one of them? I mean, it sounds cruel, but if there's warp involved, better safe than sorry, right? And we could save all the others? Edward ordered that one of the servitors be disassembled and its component investigated. Robot technomats hurried to act upon the Lord Captain's command. The servitor's mechanical parts separated with clicks, snaps, and hisses. The sutures between his wrinkled, pale flesh and his augments were laid disgustingly bare. We watched the technomat do their work, could see every centimeter of the servitor's stiff muscles abound with valves and cavities pierced by countless cords and tubes. The disassembly and analysis complete, the technomats concurred. The unit was in working order. Nothing in the dissected body that lay before us could provide any insight into the reason behind the defects. I should make note of one more thing. At the moment, all of us present discovered that not just the eyes, but the hands and heads of some of the servitors were now shaking too. It was as if the mechanized servants were overcome with primordial horror. Edward turned to announce his decision. His lordship looked at me with unwavering resolve. It was that confidence that wrenched me out of the nightmare stupor that had me tensely observing the scene unfolding before me. The Lord Captain gave the order. So... You know, Swam, that's what a heretic would say. I don't believe you. Wonder if it's the souls. The Lord Captain gave the order to dispose of the servitors, so that the human souls may be released from torment. Does something. The Lord Captain's command was executed post-haste. All defective units were incinerated in furnaces, and their remains were expelled into the void. The crew was provided with replacement servitors, and soon forgot all about the destroyed unit's peculiarities. Yet this incident haunts my memory to this day. The fate of the defective servitors decided, nothing could now distract the Lord Captain from his mission. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's go. You sent them back to work, Alistair. You're such a dogmatic one. Cassia.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Aww. She's so cute. She offers you a reserved smile and waves at you in greeting. I definitely think if Heinrix is not a possible romance option, we're going to go for Cassia. She seems pretty cute, despite being a girl. Anyway. No, tell me something about yourself.
I am a part of House Orselio, an ancient dynasty of the Navis nobility. Since time immemorial, our family has served to advance knowledge, pushing at the boundaries of the dark unknown. The Starway Atlas contains 2,843 routes that chart the sectors of the Segmentum Obscurus and reach all the way from the Koronus Expanse to Holy Terror.
I don't know if it's fun to be a mutant, what comes with it, but it sounds so cool being Navigator and being able to see the warp and everything happening, and... We're going to listen, we're later asking for something personally.
And uniting the Imperium's thousands of worlds. House Orselio is bound by commercial pacts to houses Galeatis, Ortina, Drotus, and... There is a dark blue knot tightening on your neck, Lord Captain. I can see my reply is not satisfying your thirst for knowledge. What is it you desire to hear exactly?
So much empathy. Only a heretic will think my work for the Emperor is heresy. Uh-huh. The Emperor truly works in mysterious ways, Swamp. You know, Cassia, sorry, but I would like to know a bit more about you personally, not your family.
You wish to know about me?
I bows her head slightly.
I suppose I can help you with that. What would you like to know?
So, you've never lived anywhere other than Europe 5?
Hardly. According to the chronicles of the house, I was born on one of the Orselio worlds. Oh, what was it? Please forgive me, Lord Captain. My childhood memories are too vague. Sometimes I dream about the colorful birds that built their nests in the garden, or the servants dressed in purple livery, or the blue fog that rolled over the lowlands behind the palace. But everything is covered in a rosy haze. Perhaps it is my imagination, not my memory, that is painting these pictures.
I mean, sounds like a nice place, doesn't it? The only problem with navigators is they can't pass their gene to non-navigators, so they're generally highly inbred and are not generally allowed to have children. Children outside of the noble houses. That sounds less fun. But still. So, tell me about your life on the station.
My stay on the station was wholly dedicated to preparing me for my future duty. Astromancy, astrography, numerology, the histories of my house and the Imperium, as well as other disciplines. For many years, dozens of instructors tirelessly prepared me for my destiny. And once a year, Great Regent Argenta would come to the station. He would entrust his beautiful vessel to my command, so that I could master the practical aspects of our art as well.
Interesting. So much learning theory and so little actually using it. Satisfying thirst and desire in the same sentence? I think she's crushing on you, Ethan. Did you have friends? Someone you could turn for a simple conversation, not a discussion of yet another lecture?
The Regent gave me a bird from a sunlit planet once. I tried to befriend it and make it sing, but for some reason, it refused and died soon after. The instructors were too respectful of my duty to my house to waste precious time on idle chatter. Aside from them, there were only servants on the station, and you know they have their vocal cords removed, so they cannot break their vow of silence.
That sounds so incredibly lonely. And I mean, it shines through quite often, doesn't it?
And since the subject has been breached, Lord Captain, why do you not follow this honored tradition? Your decks are so garish. Apologies, I meant noisy. The rabble don't just chatter. Sometimes they shout and even sing. Why do you allow such a lack of restraint? Rogue traders are highborn, are they not?
Must call exterminators on this whole stream so much heresy. I'm allowed to do that. I'm a rogue trader, didn't you notice? The Emperor says I can. Oh gosh. Okay, how to say no, that's cruel? You know, a ruler cannot maim people just because it is in his power to do so. On the contrary, it is the duty of every ruler to look out after his subjects.
Your words sound amazingly blasphemous. If a ruler's duty dictates the need for violence, would dispensing it not be their responsibility? I will contemplate your answer in solitude.
The young woman freezes in confusion. Yeah, we're definitely not dogmatic. No, your third eye. Do you always conceal it?
The Navigator's open eye is baneful to whoever the warp's ruinous shine falls upon, and therefore it is the symbol of our power. We are the guiding stars of humanity, found worthy of an uncommon gift, and one of the duties that we bear is to guard our eye, even from wayward glances that may bear evil.
Is it a gift if it's just the product of inbreeding? Oh well.
Besides, I am aware that lesser servants of the Imperium may find our appearance repulsive. The Navigator gene twists the features the rabble are used to seeing, and the magnificence of our role cannot be grasped by their feeble minds.
Cassia seems to be all into the whole nobility and different classes thing. I mean, makes sense, given her upbringing. I really thought some of the Romance options were would be locked to convictions too, but I don't think that's the case. That made some sense, right? also would prefer that to rather than locking romances based on gender, but don't get me started with that again. You are beautiful, Cassia. Do not let anyone or anything convince you otherwise.
Lord Captain, you are overstepping the bounds of propriety.
Cassia falters, pale cheeks turning pink from embarrassment. So, what does it feel like to guide a vessel through the warp?
It may be difficult to describe. You see, every navigator perceives the warp differently. My mentor, Great Regent Alronto, always described his travels through the Imperium as a journey through a vast wood with countless paths. And I, assisting him in the first voyages, futilely tried to follow his example. But the wood would not reveal itself to me.
I guess for her it's like more like a canvas or something, right?
But everything changed when I found my own key to this mystery. You see, I've always brightened up my rare moments of leisure time by painting. You may recall there was a workshop in my chambers. As soon as I imagined the warp as a blank canvas, an indescribable feeling came over me. I moved the brush, going deeper and deeper into my own painting. Visions were hidden within the vibrant colors of my palette, and something inside me knew which should be brought out and which should be left behind. I woke up several days later, after the voyage was safely complete.
It's such a cool concept. Then again, I guess taking your navigator with you on field trips is not really that common or smart. Anyway, I noticed that your love of painting is reflected in your speech as well. You associate so many images with hues and colors.
The Emperor graced me with a gift. I can see inner life in addition to the mundane. You cannot know that a fruit has rotten from the inside until a blade slices it in two. I can see the rot from far away. It roils like swamp mud, oozing through the bright peel. Anger and boredom, sadness and joy. Everything that people shut away inside themselves is revealed to me like colors on the canvas of my world.
That's such a beautiful view. Especially in a world which has not that much beauty in it. This game I never flirted. Look here, I'm mutant, sanctionized, but needed to drive my space boat. Well. She's cute, isn't she? Alright, why don't we talk about something else?
You will hear no objection from me, Lord Captain.
Let me just quickly change something, because I see that, I don't think the stream is lagging, but the chat is lagging a little bit. And just change the resolution, shouldn't change anything to you, for you, because you see it just in full HD, because that's the best Twitch can do. Would change things for me, and probably, yeah, make the game a little less taxing on the hardware, so the streaming interface works a little bit better for me. So, tell me about House Orcelio.
As the only voice of our family on this vessel, it is an honor. As long as your questions are courteous, I will answer every one of them.
I'd never ask anything non-courteous. So, I take it House Orcelio has a rich history.
Oh, yes. The navigators of the house came to the Koronus Expanse fairly recently, a mere 208 years ago. Before that, our ancestors expanded the borders of humankind's dominion for the glory of the Emperor, blazing trails to different corners of the galaxy.
And who rules the house?
Just as a rogue trader stands at the head of a protectorate, a Novator heads a navigator house. It is the Novator who decides where to look for alliances and which path their bloodline is destined to tread. As for our house, A transfer of power to a successor is currently underway. In the meantime, Great Regent Auronto Orselio is ensuring the stability of the house.
Oh. You lived in seclusion on a closed station until Felek committed a sabotage. So, then you must be the Navigator's successor.
So says Regent Auronto. Nothing is decided yet. Some people in the house become enshrouded in rolling grey clouds at the thought of me becoming the Navigator. But even more are bound with dull leaden chains. They think I am not ready for such a burden.
Cassia avoids meeting your eyes. She seems pretty young, doesn't she? With your permission, I would like to talk about something else.
By all means.
So, what does your special side reveal?
Sister Argenta shines like a guiding star, inspiring resolve in those around her, seemingly inexplicably. However, I see a dark and ugly fog billow behind her, contrasting sharply with her shining light. It burdens the Sister of Battle. It drags her down. Yet Argenta herself is hardly aware of it.
What is her secret?
Seneschal Viserion is among the few whose colors are a pleasure to look at. Whenever the Seneschal speaks, heavenly crystal clarity spreads around him. And whenever he is angered, dark blue clouds condense over him. And in his rare moments of joy, a pure gleam of sunset pink caresses the souls of those near him. Out of your entire retinue, Lord Captain, he is the only one I would trust with my life.
A lot of trust. Good old Abelard.
Idira's emotions are like a maelstrom. Bright, unbridled, enveloping her form like a wondrous kaleidoscope of colors. And as dangerous as a twisting warp storm. The riot of colors hides the truth from my eyes. What exactly is driving this woman? Is it her own will, or is it the Immaterium, Lord Captain?
Wonder what this question leads to. Let's talk about us, shall we?
Right here? Are you sure?
Ah. You can either say... Cassia looks around, discomfited. You can either end our relationship, I didn't even know we had a relationship. Well, let's discuss other things.
Of course. Let us turn from personal matters to more pressing concerns.
This is where I must beg my leave.
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
I won't deny your claims, Juniper, but I go with Mara-chan and the sisters are more my style. I think it is very hard to get a sister to like you in that way. They don't really seem to be willing to share, I don't know. Very devoted all the way for the Emperor. There's still a quest. It's of interest. Did we get our people? What? Ah, we get the people from Recruitment Norris. Kinda expected that we get the people from the prison planetoid. I don't know why. Recruitment Norris. I think our next goal is pretty clear. Let's sell some of our stuff. Can I put a petition for a female Drukari romance option? Nope. You can't. You would seriously like to romance a female Drukari? I'm so disappointed that the only gay option you have is the Drukari. well swamp. What is happening? The ship makes its way through the star system. A strange fatigue falls over you. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the quill you have been using to draw up yet another order falls from your hand. Once again, all those ghosts. Raise your head with a start. Someone else is here, in your study. You stand up and stare at dozens upon dozens of corpses surrounding you. Among the number, you recognize the disfigured and bloody faces of those who died on the ship's bridge and those you met in your previous life. Was that possible? Where are the enforcers posted to stand guard? It matters not. You are alone against a horde of heretics risen from the darkness to take your life. As if of its own accord, the shard lying on the edge of the desk, the sole remnant of Conrad Vorkvir's weapon, slips into your hand. The metal is searing cold. The dead sway from side to side, closing in around you in nightmarishly slow advance. What the heck? What is happening? Why do I have that? Is that connected to the ship is possessed? Is it the shards? Whatever Theodora had? What is it? Stop. I do not wish for any of you... It's not raspy enough. Stop. I do not wish for any of you to die. The dead remain deaf of your words, creeping ever closer with the inevitability of death itself. You belatedly realize that your trembling hand has found the shard, and its razor-sharp edge cuts into your palm. An unbearable bright light floods everything around. You find yourself surrounded by groveling minions, their bodies shivering in your mere presence. Your hands no longer hold a pitiful shard, but a majestic and intricate weapon. A skillfully crafted sword with strange, unnerving proportions, a curved design, and an unusual hilt adorned with the image of a closed eye. A closed eye? Weird. Weird. Yes, once again, this demonic thing. The eye opens wide, revealing a gaze so ancient and dark that it steals your breath away. You've felt this gaze before, there, on the bridge, and the voice that appears in your mind only confirms your guess. The tapestry is woven, the path is chosen. Accept your fate, champion. I don't know. I'm very curious what happens, but we're going to go the non-heretic way. And Edward throws the daemon blade away. Never. Your body refuses to obey your mind. The handle feels as if it has become one with your hand, and the gaze of the demonic eye set your very soul ablaze. Resisting your fate is futile. Scream as you feel your soul burn away to ash. And that all started with Conrad, didn't it? Or is it also connected to the shards? It is connected to the shards. But how are those two things connected? You awaken from the vision, kneeling next to your desk, clothes drenched and swept, and with a sour taste on your tongue. Your head is ringing, you struggle to recall those faces and the image of the sword in your hands. Only the deep cut on your palm and the bloody shard lying on the floor remind you what just transpired. You would rather die than touch the thing again. So you reach a shaking hand for your vox and call for a servitor. Now you just have to wait for the mindless automaton to arrive, pick up the cursed artifact, and head for the nearest airlock to be claimed by the void. We did that before, and it didn't work. The Chaos Gods like you. I'm not interested, but thank you, I'm flattered. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I'm so sure we will meet this blade again. What, Captain? I'm tired, but I want to continue to play. Oh well. As long as I don't pass out, sleeping, while streaming, I can still go for a little while. We got Menoris. 3 quests. Seems important. Actually looks like a nice planet with water and everything. Starport. Let's go! It's late o'clock in your time zone. My favorite time. It's already been almost 6 hours of streaming.